Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Each class will have what said, each class will have a constructor. This is an example for creating a constructor for a class called account. And this class take number, name, and val, and just initialize the variable. Just initialize the variable inside the class. Now to create the constructor, it's always public, and this is public, and you put the class name and you give the argument, and this is you write the code inside it if you want to write any code. All right. This is an example of the constructor. So why we need to use the constructor, because when you call the method called the new here, when you call the method the new, you already make a call for what? Make a call for the constructor. Make a call for the constructor. You can have also zero argument, which is called the default constructor. The default constructor contain nothing, okay, except no argument. We call it zero argument constructor, or we call it default constructor. We can have another constructor that takes what? That takes a variable, okay. So the constructor, we don't use the constructor to print anything, okay. Try to avoid, putting some, printing statement or extra code inside the constructor. The constructor mainly used for what? Used to somehow initialize the variable in the class. We don't use the constructor to do other things, okay. It's not like other methods. It's just a constructor that initialize the class. But if you want to do something specific for a variable, you can set up the value. I'll show you later on how to do that. But try to use the constructor only to initialize the variable, okay. Yeah, you can set up the value. So for example, you can have a constructor with the variables if you want, or without variable, like with the one we used here, without variable, which called default constructor. You can put other constructor, okay, but this constructor accepts some numbers or variables. Now this keyword actually is used in Java a lot, okay. It means that this object, you are using this object, this class, or this method, okay. So it means what? It will save you time if you specify the access modifier, okay. So it will treat like any other object, which means what? This object, like this is mean what? If you are inside this class, for example, if you are inside this class prisoner, okay, and you say this dot name, this means the same as writing what? Prisoner dot name. So it is the same name as the class. So this means what? Mean in the current class or the current object that we are in, okay. So this dot name means now here means prisoner dot name equal name, okay. We can say for the method, you can say this dot the method name. That means what? That means you're using this class. All right, we'll also demonstrate that in the method. This is an example. For example, we have a class called account, okay, and this class has what? Has a few attributes, and these variables are what? Are global variable. Global variable means what? Global variable. Global variable means what? All the methods inside the class can use what? All the method inside the class can use this variable. No need to identify them. So if you put any variable inside any class, it will be known. That should be okay. Okay. So this method can use account number or account name or balance. You can print them directly. Do you see definition here for the variable? No, because it's already what? It's already here. Even the others can use them. Even the other functions. This is how, what do you mean by global variable? So the class account contain what? Account number, which is integer, and the string integer, okay, and double as balance. Okay, now this is a constructor. This is what? This is a constructor. Why it's a constructor? It has the same name as the class. Same name as the class. And it takes three parameters: number, name, and global. And it's used to set up the values for the parameter. So number will be saved into the account number. Name will be saved into account name. Balance will be saved into the balance. And we use this. This means what? This means account dot account dot, which means the variable. This we can use this keyword, or we can use the class name itself. Now also here we have another function. This is the constructor. This is another first function. Deposit. It take an amount. It just increase the balance by the amount. Another function called withdraw. It does not return anything because there is void. These two are void. Does not return anything. This also prints something void to print the information. And we have another class here called main. See the class. This class now is finished. This is the first class. Okay, this is the first class is finished now. Okay, now this is another class here. A new class is called the main class, and the main class contains main method. So in order to use the account, I have to create an instance from the account. So the account is just a template. When I can create many accounts using this template. So I can say A1, the first account is called A. So create a new object called A. This is a new object from account. It's called A. It is contained account number. The account number is actually equal to 1 because here is 100. And the account name is what? Hilbert. And the account balance is this one. This value, when you create a new account, it will call the constructor. Where is the constructor? This is the constructor. Okay, so 100, Hilbert, and 700. So here, the number will receive what? Will receive the value what? 100. And the name will receive the value what? Hilbert. And the balance, this one will receive the value 7856.97. These are the variable here sent. Now this is in A1. This is what? In A1. We created A1. Now you can use A1 to deposit, A1 to display this function here. This function here inside this class. You can use any function inside this class. We have three functions. We have deposit, okay, and we have also balance, and we have withdraw, deposit, withdraw, and display. Now this is how we use it actually. Now I can create another instance called A2 from the account. So I create another one called what? A2. I can create many objects, as many as I can. This one will have 100 as the account number, Hilbert, but the balance is what? Balance is different. Now these two accounts are different, are not the same. Why they are not the same? Because even they have the same value here, but the balance is what? The balance is what? Is different. Okay, the balance is different. And when you call A2 to withdraw, you are not calling the one with the A1. And so A1 is separate. Okay, so we create two objects. When you use a new, you will call what? You will call the constructor to initialize the variable. To create a new application, file, new project, and I'm gonna call it, this is Java. Next, I will call it, for example, account. Let's say account, and I will say what? Finish. This is our account project. It's contain account package and contain account Java. Okay. Now this is the main class. Now this is the, when you run the program, will start this class. I'm gonna add a new class. Right click, new, a Java class, and let's call it what? Let's call it, for example, here bank account. Okay, bank accounts. Okay, and I'll say finish. Now this will create a new class. You can see this class is empty, nothing. This is a public class something. Okay, now this class will have an attributes. Let's say, for example, for the bank account, what do we have? We have to say, for example, integer what? Integer account, for example, number. Okay, let's say, for example, string account name, the name of the account. Let's say, for example, string currency account currency. Okay, account currency is the let's say car. Currency means umla. All right, and this is let's say double, for example. Okay, double what? Double let's say balance, account balance, and this is the attributes inside the account. So each account will have this information: account number, account name, current, and a balance. Okay, instead of account name, I'm going to use account type, for example, type. All right, now let's see. Now these are by default are what? Are private. I can set them as a private, and I can set them as private because by default they are private. So I can just make it as encapsulate. No one can access this class without by my permission. All right. Now, if they are private, I need to create set and get for these variables. Now you don't have to write these by yourself. You just go to source. Okay, go to source in the NetBeans. This is only in the NetBeans. Go to the source, insert the code, and you choose what, for example, and you choose getter, and you choose getter for what? For all these variables. Now it will create a getter for these variables. Get for account number, get for account type, and get for account current, and get for account balance. Okay, these are important in order to, if you want to see the account information, we have to use these things. Okay, if you don't have the get function and you try to print the account number from the outside, you will not. I'll show you. I'll remove this one. I'll remove it. I'll show you how does it work. Now let's go here and say, for example, I want to create let's say to the account, the main program, I want to create an object instance from that object. I will say, for example, bank account, let's say B1. I create an account. Okay, so equal new what? The bank account. So I create an instance from this one, and I use it for this. If I say, for example, system.out.println, for example, B1. Do you see the account balance? Do you see the account number? Do you see any of them? No, you can't see them. Okay, why is that? Because there's no get and set statement. There's no get and set statement. Okay, if I say account number, that's error. Now, how to fix that? You have to go to the class and add what? Insert the what? The code for the set or the getter, and choose all of them and say okay. And also I need to put what? The setter. Okay, I need to put the setter as well. So save, go to the program here, and if you say b1 dot, what do you see? You see all of them: account number, balance, account current, and so on. Okay, this is how actually we use it. All right, it's very important to do that. It's very important to do that. All right, so I just gave you an example. The same way, if you want to change the value, you have to use what? You have to use the set. So I go and source, insert code, and you choose what? Setter. And the setter, you choose them all. So this one is set account, and this one is what? Get account. If you want to create all of them just in one shot, let's say I haven't created them yet. Okay, I want to create them directly. Same way, I can say insert code, and there's one option called getter and setter together. Getter and setter. You choose them all, it will create both of them for you. So create get account setter, get account, and also set account for you, and all methods. Set and get. This is the way you automatically generate what? Generate setter and getter for the variables, okay, without any mistakes. If you type them by yourself, you might get mistake. And look at the word this. This means what? This means the class, bank account. It means what? We are meaning this class. So this variable account type in this class belong to this class. Okay, now for this class, I need to create a constructor. And you can have the option, it's by default, the class have a default constructor. What's the default constructor? If you go and insert code, and you choose constructor, which is the first option constructor, and I want to empty. I don't want to choose anyone, no variables. I don't want to set the value for any variable. I just say okay, generate. This is an empty constructor. This is called, what we call this one? We call this one what? We call it the default constructor. Okay, the default constructor actually is by default is already there if you don't even add it. So it's an empty constructor. So when you call the program here, the account, you go to the program here and you call this method, it will call the default constructor. This one will call what? The default constructor. This one will call the default constructor. No values initialized. All right. But if you want to have a full constructor, you want to initialize the value for all the variables, you can. You don't have to do that. So you can say public. I'll show you both methods. Public, and your class name is bank account. You have to mention the class name, and for this one, and this is the default. I wanna change it. Okay, this I have already the default. This is what I give it as. I wanna have initialize the variable, so I'll say integer and or for example a variable, and the second one, for example, string type, for example, like this, and the other one is called what? String. The S should be capital. So string currency, C for example, and the last one is double, is what balance. Okay, and when you come here, we haven't finished yet. Okay, we haven't finished yet. String class bank account. What is wrong here? Let's see what's the error here. Yeah, the error of the class name is error. So it is, the class name was error. So let's fix it for you. Bank account. Now, to initialize the variable, you can put this dot. When you say this dot, I will give you the variable. Okay. and you say account number, for example, equal NO, you initialize the variable here. This dot account type or account type equal type, which is the same variable here. You can see that it's already shadowed. And also this dot what else, account currency equal C, which is the currency, and this dot, the last one is what, the balance, equal to what, equal to that, which is that variable over there. Okay, so in here we initialize that variable. If you don't want to write it like this, okay, if you don't want to write it like this, I can show you the way. In the NetBeans, you go insert and insert code, and you choose constructor, and then you choose all the variable like this inside the constructor, and it's the same that one. Only difference is what, the names of the variable. Okay, but you have the options. Okay, now this is called what? This is called initialize all the variable. This is initialize all the variable, full constructor. This is a full constructor. You can have many constructor. Now in the other class, when you create an object like this one, B1 is empty, I can create another one by saying bank account, for example. B2, I can use the other constructor, new, and say bank account. And when you open this, it will tell you what to enter. Okay, so I can, what's the first one is what? I say the account number is, for example, 12, comma, I need what's the second one? I'll just put it as a comment right here, so I know what to enter. Account number, and then we have the account type. Then after that, account type, let's say account type is saving. Okay, and then after that, I can have the currency. The currency is Omani Riyal, for example. And the balance, let's say the balance now is 200 Paisa, for example. Okay, and that's it. So we create, this one is a number, sorry, you should remove the quotation because it's a number. So we created now two accounts. It's called B1 and B2 account. Let's call this one Amal account, for example, Amal account, and let's call this one, for example, Juhayna account. Okay, so we can differentiate between them. All right. Now I have two accounts. One is empty, and the other one is what? Is full. Now for Amal, I have to do it myself. So I have to go and say, for example, here, Amal. Okay. Dot Amal account. Sorry, Amal account, which is that one. Dot. I can say what? Set balance to what? Set balance to, for example, 2000.0. Okay, I can also set the account number. I have to set the account number for Amal. Okay, so instead of doing it like this one by one, you can have it as what? You can have it as a full constructor. Okay, now the full constructor has some problem. You can continue with the Amal. Okay, you can set up the Amal. I can put it underneath Amal. Okay, card, and I can put it right here underneath Amal. Control V. So I can use Amal to set all the variable. Copy, and I can set all the variable. Control V dot set. You just set. Okay, set account currency. Account currency should be what? Should be, for example, current. And you can say also Control V dot set. Okay, set what? Set the account number to, for example, 2345, and for example. Okay, and the last one to set is what? is the what account number already done. What we did? We did the account balance. We did the account number. We still have the account currency. Okay, so the account currency is this one, and we can say what? We can say the currency is what? Is dollar, like this. Okay, the currency is dollar, for example. And the name is error. Sorry. So this is the now here. Perfect. All right. You need to save. Okay. Now we have created that. I can put back to dollar. This one. Okay. This is how we initialized Amal, and this is how we initialized Juhaina account. The Juhaina account directly from the same initialization. And but now let's say that I want to create an account for example, Yasser. I would say bank. Okay, bank account, let's say Yasser, and account like this is equal new, let's say bank account, and I will say what? I will mix it. I will say, okay, I will put first the balance, then after that I will put the ID 13. After that I will put saving. Okay, and after that I will use what? I will use the currency as what? As for example Omani Riyal. Now this wrong here. What's wrong here? The order of the parameter here of the argument is not correct. So we have to give him the account number first, and then after that the account type, and then after that the account currency. It has to be in the same order. Okay. Now, if you give him different order, that will give you an error. To avoid this error, you can create what? You can create another constructor with different order. Okay. So I'm just gonna come back here. So first I will put what? I will put first the account number, sorry, the balance, and then the account number, and then type and the currency. Okay. So I can come back here to the account, bank account. This is the constructor. Okay, I can copy that, change the order. Okay, so first I will put the balance at the beginning. I'll move it here to the beginning, and then I will move the what? I will move the account number then, and then after that string account type, and then after that the currency. So this is a new constructor, same as that one. Same as this one and this one are the same, but the only difference is that the order is different. This one accepts account number first and then account type, but this one accepts the account balance first and then accept what? The account number then. So if I go back to the this one here, I don't have any error. Now I will not have any error. Why is that? Because what? Because I have another constructor with different order. So you can create, the idea is that you can create as many constructor if you want. Okay, as many constructor if you want. Okay, if you have a method here, let's create a method. So set and get. Let's create extra methods. Let's say for example public void add money. Let's say add money. Okay, or deposit. Let's call it what? Deposit. The deposit will take what? Will take double. Will take double. Let's say M, for example, and it will increase what? It will increase the balance. So I will say this dot balance. You add money to your account. Okay, this dot what? Dot account balance. This one plus M. Okay, and if you want to create another one for deposit, you can say public void for example withdraw. I want to withdraw for example amount of money, let's say M, same thing, money, and that will use the same thing here, except what? Minus. That I'm taking money from my account instead of balance. But in here you can see, do if statement. Say if, okay, this dot account balance is more than, okay, is more than M. You have money in your account, then you can still do this. Then you can withdraw the money. You can add some like if statement. Okay, that's fine. It's just an if statement. Okay, and then here we can add a function, for example, for printing. Say public void print details, for example, or display. Let's call it display. From display, and display does not take anything actually. That like this, and here we go. So this one just display the information. Okay, this one does display the information. Okay, if I save, you have to save. Okay, go back here. I can, for example, say, okay, I can put menu similar to the one, but I just want to, demonstrate that for you. So I can say, for example, okay, Yasser account, for example, dot, okay, that what? Deposit. I'm gonna deposit 1,000 or 1,000, okay. And I can also print here, for example, Joanna to, for example, dot withdraw 100 Besa, because she only has 200. Okay, and also let's say Amal, for example, Amal account dot deposit. Let's say deposit, yes, deposit 2,000, for example. Okay, and yeah, I can print someone information. I can say, for example, Amal, Amal account dot display, example, not deposit, dot display this one here. Okay, and I can also print what? I can also print Joanna. So I can dot display. You can just enter and that will come up. Yeah, this one is not get actually. It should be set. This one should be set. So I'm gonna save and run. See how it happen. Okay, here we go. It's just print account here type is null, and here print account currency here, and this one, because we haven't set up the account type here in Amal. Did we print Yasser? The first one is Yasser. No, the first one is Amal. Okay, we haven't set up the account type for Amal. We only set up the currency and the number and the currency. So just print null because there's nothing there. $sign, and then this is the account number. This is the balance. This is the account detail for Joanna. As print saving type, Oman Real and 12 and so on. So this is how we create a constructor and set and get method for any class.